Hello and welcome back to the Builder Studio. Today we're going to be showing you how to build this DIY Lego table. We're going to give this table a farmhouse style so that it can fit into any space in your home. Stay tuned for some tips and tricks and we'll be right back. So as I mentioned, we're going to be giving this table a farmhouse style so that it fits in many different rooms in the home. So we're going to do a white base with this gray Lego top. We've went ahead and opted for part 1335. We have these in pine and we're going to be painting them with a nice chalk paint just to add to that farmhouse style. And we've got a custom Osborne skirt kit here. We've went ahead and sized that to the dimensions of our table. Our table kit is going to be 18 by 33 inches edge to edge. And then we went ahead and grabbed some of this 1x2 railing from the local hardware store. And this is going to allow us to create that top rail similar to how you saw in the game table video. For our playing surface, we picked up these Lego playing mats. Now these are 15 inches by 15 inches and we have 2 of those. So we're going to go ahead and just line those up and make that our playing surface at 15 by 30 inches. Finally, for the base of our playing surface, we picked up a 1/2 inch sheet of plywood. This is going to make a great base that we can epoxy these Lego mats to. So as always, let's go ahead and assemble our table base kit first. If you're interested in a more in-depth tutorial on that process, you can reference this video above. Now, as I mentioned, this is a 15 by 30 inch playing surface, and we've got this 2x4 sheet of plywood. This is 1/2 inch thick. So what I'm going to do is line up my Lego mats on 2 of these straight edges that are already cut onto my plywood. And we'll go ahead and lay this out in the orientation that it needs to be. And once I've got them centered, I can go ahead and just mark where I need to cut here. So let's go ahead and get set up with our circular saw. We can cut this out to size. All right, so we've got this cut to size, and this is going to be the base for our playing surface. Now we're going to be using some quick set epoxy just to secure these mats to this plywood. It's going to hold really well and it's going to be really convenient. It's going to dry really fast. So I'm going to go ahead and take this epoxy and just mix a little bit up. And once we squeeze some out of that tube, we can just go ahead and mix it together. And now we're just going to take a little bit and I'm going to put it on each corner here and just kind of spread it out nice. We don't need a ton because this stuff really doesn't take a lot of product to get this stuff to stick. But I just want to get good coverage, make sure my playing surface is going to lay it on all the seams. All right, when I'm happy with that amount, I'm just gonna go ahead and take my Lego mats and just line those up in the corners. Now I just want to apply some pressure on all of the points that we added epoxy to and just give it some time to cure up. All right, so we're gonna set this to the side for now and go ahead and work on our top rail. So as I mentioned, our table base kit is gonna be 18 by 33 inches edge to edge. So that's what we're gonna cut our rails to out of this 1x2 lumber, just to give it that nice flush look similar to what we had on our game table. So I need 2 pieces cut at 18 inches and then 2 pieces cut at 33 inches. Go ahead and just cut a 45 in one corner. I like to just pull my measurements from this top corner since I know that's gonna be the edge of my rail. And then I can pull 18 inches and just cut that 45 as well, keeping it nice and even. Now that we've got our rails cut out to size and mitered properly, we're gonna go ahead and just add some glue to each corner. Now we can just go ahead and fit those together. We'll take our strap clamp and just outline that border and we'll pull that tight. All right, so we're gonna let this dry and then we can move on to installing this onto our table base kit. All right, so now we've got our rails done and ready to go ahead and be installed onto our table base. Now, since we're doing a thinner 1x2 inch rail here, we can't utilize the pocket holes that come in the skirt kit because they won't grab onto that rail. So what we're gonna do is screw directly from the top of the rail into our legs, and then we're gonna just add some nice decorative plugs there just to cover that up, and I think it'll add to that farmhouse look. And then for our playing surface, when we get ready to insert it in, we can utilize these pocket holes, so we'll flip it back over and just go ahead and attach that down to make sure it's not going anywhere. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark out where I want to install my screws. I'm gonna do 2 in each corner. Now I'm gonna take my 2-step bit and just drill down into those marks. All right, now we can take a longer screw since we've got plenty of room to work with, and we'll just run them down into that hole. Now I can just take some of the plugs that I've cut out of some spare pieces of poplar and just pop them in there with a little bit of glue. Just fill the hole there just a little bit. And I'll just take my plug and just tap it down a little bit, and then we'll come back and trim those up when they're dry. So the last step before we're ready to install our playing surface is to go ahead and get this sanded and painted with a nice white chalk paint. So let's go ahead and jump over to our bench and get this finished up. All right, so now that we have our base painted, we've got our Lego surface ready to go. Now I'm gonna flip this upside down. Now we're gonna use a 3/4 inch screw since we have a 1/2 inch material here to drill into. That way we're not busting through the top. Let's go ahead and get this placed over our surface. Now that that's sat down in there, we're just gonna go ahead and install our screws. All right, so that's gonna wrap it up for this week's episode. If you're interested in creating a similar farmhouse Lego table, I'll leave a link below to the square heritage coffee table legs, as well as some more information on custom table bases from Osborne. I really love how this project turned out, and I think it can be very versatile for both you and your kids in your home. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave us a comment if you have any ideas for future builds, and we'll see you next time in the Builder Studio.